Okay, so we all know we're not going to live forever, right?
Right.
It's just a fact of life. But, what if this idea of me, the you that you think you are, like your personality and everything,
Yeah.
what if that isn't the whole story?
That's a good question. Gets right to the heart of things.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today, folks,
Exact.
with verse 6 of Adi Shankaracharya's Bhaja Govindam,
A classic.
which is all about this deep question. What happens when we die?
Not just physically, though.
Right, not just the body, but what does it tell us about how we see ourselves even while we're still alive?
It's a whole different perspective on life and death.
It really is. And this verse uses some powerful imagery to get that point across.
Yeah, it does.
So it talks about all these people asking someone, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? Like the usual stuff.
Sure, the everyday pleasantries.
Exactly. But then the moment the breath leaves the body, boom, even the person's wife is suddenly afraid. It's kind of chilling when you think about it.
It is, and there's a profound philosophical point behind that contrast, actually. In Vedanta, it highlights the difference between what they call the Atman, the true self, and the temporary physical body.
Okay, so the Atman's the real deal.
The Atman is the eternal essence.
And the body's just
Yeah, the body's kind of like a vehicle.
like a temporary ride.
Exactly.
I get it. So where does the breath fit into all of this? Because the verse specifically mentions the breath leaving the body.
Right. Well, prana, which is the Sanskrit word for breath, is considered this vital life force, this link between the Atman, that true self, and the physical body.
Okay, so it's like the bridge.
Exactly. It's the bridge. And while it's there, we're kind of caught up in this illusion, this world of senses and experiences.
Makes sense. But it's still kind of messed up that the wife would be afraid, right?
Hmm.
Like, shouldn't she be sad, grieving, not scared?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But that fear, that's a powerful symbol. It represents our deep attachment to the physical form.
Even though it's not really who we are?
Even though it's not the essence of who we are. It's temporary, it's going to change, decay, ultimately it's going to be gone.
So if we're not our bodies, then what are we? Like, what's the Atman all about?
This is a big question, and there are whole libraries written on it, but to put it simply, the Atman is pure consciousness. It's eternal, it's unchanging. And unlike the body, it's not subject to birth, death, or any of that stuff.
So it's like beyond all this.
Beyond all this, exactly.
Wow. When you put it that way, it really makes you think about how much we stress over our looks, our health.
Right. Like, is this really me, or is this just the body talking?
Yeah. Like, what if all that stuff is just distracting us from the real self that we should be exploring?
That's the whole point the verse is trying to make. It's a wake-up call.
So it's not about being morbid. It's about, realizing there's more to us than what we see in the mirror.
That's it. And that's where the concept of avidya comes in, that ignorance we were talking about before.
Ignorance that makes us cling to the physical stuff.
Exactly. It's that ignorance that makes us think this physical world is all there is and makes us afraid of death. In Vedanta, realizing the difference between the body and the Atman,
That's a big deal.
it's huge. It's like the whole game changes.
It does kind of put things in perspective, right? Like, maybe I shouldn't sweat the small stuff so much.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
The verse encourages us to cultivate this thing called vairagya.
Vairagya.
It's often translated as detachment.
So, not caring about anything.
Not exactly. It's more like this. Not getting so caught up in things that we lose sight of the bigger picture, the real self.
Ah, I see. So it's about having the right perspective.
Exactly. And alongside Vairagya, there's Jnana,
Which is?
which is self-knowledge, that deep understanding of the Atman, your true nature.
So, if I'm hearing you right, this verse is basically saying, hey, while you're busy asking everyone how they're doing, maybe take a moment to ask yourself, how well do I actually know myself?
You got it. That's the real question, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great takeaway for all of us. Next time you catch yourself stressing about something temporary, just ask yourself, is this really me talking? Or is it just my body?
Love it. Because that shifting perspective, that's where real peace and fulfillment come from.
Absolutely. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope this has given you some food for thought.
Some food for the Atman.
Exactly. Hey, we'll see you next time for another deep dive.